If you're a diehard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. Joe Flacco's name has long been synonymous with grit, veteran poise, and that unmistakable calm under pressure. But now, at age 41, the Super Bowl 47 MVP finds himself in the middle of one of the rarest NFL trades in modern history. A deal that not only crosses divisional lines, but also defies decades of football convention. When news broke that the Cleveland Browns had traded Joe Flacco to their AFC North rivals, the Cincinnati Bengals, the entire football world collectively raised an eyebrow. This wasn't just a player swap. It was an unprecedented shakeup in one of the most competitive divisions in football. Since the Browns re-entered the NFL in 1999, the two franchises had never made a trade. Rivalries this deep don't usually mix with business. Yet here we are, with Joe Flacco poised to wear Bengal stripes, setting the stage for one of the most compelling storylines of the 2025 season. Think about this for a second. Flacco is about to become the first quarterback in the Super Bowl era to start for three AFC North teams: the Baltimore Ravens, the Cleveland Browns, and now the Cincinnati Bengals. That's football history being written in real time. Only Jeff Driscoll shares even a fraction of that distinction, having started for both the Browns and Bengals, but Flacco's journey eclipses that. It's not just longevity that makes this remarkable, it's the symbolism. The same man who once led the Ravens to a Super Bowl title, who silenced critics with a legendary postseason run, who later resurrected his career by dragging Cleveland into playoff contention in 2023, is now stepping into the jungle of Cincinnati to try to keep their season alive. It's poetic, ironic, and utterly unpredictable. The kind of story that makes the NFL so captivating. To put the magnitude of this move into perspective, we've only seen two other intra-division quarterback trades in this century. The first came in April 2001, when the New England Patriots sent Drew Bledsoe to the Buffalo Bills. The second was in April 2010, when Donovan McNabb was traded from the Philadelphia Eagles to Washington. Both were seismic moves at the time, shaking up the dynamics of their respective divisions. Now, Joe Flacco joins that exclusive club, making this only the third such deal in nearly 25 years. ESPN's Adam Schefter was the first to break the story, and his post immediately went viral across football media. It wasn't just the rarity of the trade that got people talking, it was what it represented. The Browns and Bengals, two teams that have battled for years in the same division, putting aside their rivalry for a mutually beneficial move? That's not just business. That's NFL history. But why did this happen now? The answer lies in desperation, timing, and opportunity. The Bengals have been in turmoil since Joe Burrow went down with a toe injury in Week 2. Burrow's timetable for return remains uncertain, and Cincinnati has been floundering without its star quarterback. Backup Jake Browning has been inconsistent, unable to lift the offense beyond mediocrity, and head coach Zach Taylor needed a spark, or at least a steady hand. That's where Joe Flacco comes in. Despite being on the wrong side of 40, he's still seen as one of the most experienced and mentally sharp quarterbacks available. He's played in every kind of weather, every kind of defense, every kind of moment. For the Bengals, bringing in Flacco wasn't about the future, it was about survival. With a 2-3 record and a brutal schedule ahead, Cincinnati couldn't afford to sink deeper into the AFC standings. Meanwhile, in Cleveland, the situation was equally complicated. After a promising comeback story last season, Flacco's magic had worn off quickly in 2025. Through the first 4 games of this year, he went 1-3 as a starter and struggled to move the offense efficiently. His arm strength wasn't gone, but the timing, decision-making, and rhythm all seemed off. The Browns, under Kevin Stefanski, had spent the offseason building a crowded quarterback room, a mix of youth and experience meant to ensure stability. Rookies Dylan Gabriel and Shadur Sanders were brought in to learn the system, while Deshaun Watson continued to recover from his Achilles injury. But as the weeks went on, it became clear that Flacco's presence was holding the team back. When Gabriel took over under center during the Week 5 loss to Minnesota, Cleveland fans saw a glimpse of the future and a reason to move on. Local analysts were blunt about it. Nick Pedone from Big Play Sports Network called the trade a step in the right direction, pointing out how ineffective Flacco had been in recent games. He wasn't entirely sold on Dylan Gabriel, but he saw the decision as a necessary one for the Browns offense to breathe again. Pedone's take echoed the sentiment of many Cleveland fans who appreciated what Flacco did in 2023 but were ready to see the next chapter begin. Once that perspective took hold, Flacco became expendable, and the Bengals, facing their own quarterback crisis, became the perfect trade partner. It was business meeting necessity, a rare alignment of needs that transcended division lines. What makes this even more fascinating is the emotional layer attached to it. Just 2 years ago, Joe Flacco was a hero in Cleveland. He walked into the building late in the 2023 season when the Browns were desperate, led them to a playoff berth, and became a folk legend almost overnight. Fans chanted his name, players rallied around his leadership, and he brought stability to a team that hadn't seen much of it in years. To see that same quarterback now wearing the orange and black of the Bengals, one of Cleveland's most despised rivals, is surreal. The fan reactions have been mixed. Some are rooting for him out of respect. Others feel betrayed, as if a local legend crossed enemy lines. But for Flacco, it's business. It's one more shot at proving he can still deliver, one more chance to write a new chapter in a career that's already full of twists. From a football standpoint, this trade could have ripple effects across the entire AFC North. The Browns, by moving on from Flacco, are signaling full commitment to their young quarterbacks. Dillon Gabriel, the rookie out of Oklahoma, has shown flashes of potential, quick reads, mobility, and a calmness in the pocket that the team desperately needed. Shedeur Sanders, still developing but full of raw talent, now slides into the backup role. Bailey Zapp, who's been lingering on the practice squad, could step up as the new emergency quarterback. This kind of youth movement doesn't happen without risk, but it's clear Cleveland is looking ahead, not back. With Deshaun Watson still on the physically unable to perform list, the Browns' quarterback situation is far from settled, but it's undeniably more future-oriented than it was a week ago. For the Bengals, however, this move screams urgency. With Joe Burrow sidelined indefinitely, they needed someone who could walk in and command the huddle immediately. Flacco may not be the most dynamic quarterback in the league anymore, but he knows how to manage a game, read a defense, and make throws under pressure. According to reports, Cincinnati expects him to be ready to start as early as this week against the Green Bay Packers. If that happens, it would mark his second game against the Packers in less than a month, a rare scheduling twist that could test his readiness right away. Should Flacco find his rhythm quickly, the Bengals could stabilize enough to stay in the playoff hunt until Burrow's return. And if fate has a sense of humor, we might even see Flacco face the Browns again in the regular season finale, a storyline that would almost write itself. Beyond the field, this trade also shakes up the fantasy football world. Flacco's arrival in Cincinnati could give a temporary boost to players like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, who have struggled to find chemistry with Jake Browning. Flacco has always favored big-bodied receivers who can win contested catches, something Chase excels at. On the Browns' side, Gabriel's mobility and quick release could inject new life into Amari Cooper and Elijah Moore, whose production dipped early in the season. Fantasy managers are watching closely, knowing that even a small shift in quarterback play can completely change the trajectory of a player's season. And let's not forget the historical undertones. Intra-division trades like this are almost taboo in the NFL. Teams are often too afraid of the optics, the fear that a player they traded away might come back to haunt them twice a year. But this deal challenges that old-school mentality. It shows that even in one of the fiercest divisions in football, pragmatism can outweigh pride. It's a testament to how the NFL continues to evolve, where rivalries still burn hot, but front offices are willing to take bold swings when the opportunity is right. In the end, Joe Flacco's journey from Baltimore to Cleveland to Cincinnati isn't just a quirky footnote in NFL history. It's a reflection of the league's constant reinvention. A reminder that legacies aren't static, that even in the twilight of a career, a player can find new meaning and new battles to fight. Whether Flacco leads the Bengals to victory or fades quietly into the background, one thing's certain. He's already etched his name into one of the most fascinating stories of the modern NFL era. The man once known for ice in his veins now carries the weight of two rival fan bases, one cheering for redemption, the other watching in disbelief. And that alone makes this trade one for the ages. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. In what can only be described as an absolutely shocking move, the Cleveland Browns have officially announced the acquisition of star wide receiver TYREEK Hill, and the sports world is still reeling. The news dropped like a thunderclap late last night, and fans, analysts, and even rival teams are struggling to comprehend the magnitude of this decision. What makes this announcement even more jaw-dropping, however, is the revelation that Hill is currently dealing with a severe injury, one that many experts have described as career-threatening. The very idea that a team would commit to signing a player of his caliber under such circumstances is, frankly, unprecedented in modern NFL history. Social media erupted instantly, with reactions ranging from excitement to sheer disbelief, as everyone tried to make sense of why the Browns would take such a high-risk gamble. The speculation has already begun, with some insiders suggesting that Cleveland may be betting on their elite medical staff and cutting-edge rehabilitation programs to get Hill back on the field faster than anyone expects. Others are more skeptical, questioning whether the move is a desperate attempt to chase headlines and energize a fan base hungry for big-name talent. Regardless of the angle, one thing is clear. The Browns have just thrown a massive curveball into the NFL offseason, and the ripple effects are being felt across the league. Sources close to the team hint that the discussions surrounding Hill's potential arrival were anything but ordinary. Apparently, front office meetings stretched into the early hours of the morning, with executives poring over medical reports, contract contingencies, and performance projections. There is talk that the Browns management team was presented with multiple scenarios, each outlining the potential benefits and pitfalls of acquiring Hill despite his injury. The numbers reportedly favored the upside, with Hill's talent and game-changing ability outweighing the risks associated with his recovery timeline. Yet, even with these figures in hand, the decision was described by insiders as bold, audacious, and not without controversy. Fans of the team are naturally ecstatic, imagining a Browns offense that could instantly become one of the most explosive in the league, while critics are already predicting disaster if Hill is unable to return to full form. Rumors are swirling about the contract specifics, with some suggesting that the Browns included performance-based incentives, medical clauses, and flexible roster protections to mitigate the inherent risk. It's a fascinating chess match, and the intrigue is only growing by the hour. Meanwhile, the injury itself has become the subject of endless debate. TYREEK Hill, known for his blistering speed and game-breaking ability, reportedly suffered a severe lower body injury late last season, one that required immediate medical attention and extensive rehabilitation. While details remain closely guarded, insiders suggest the injury is complex, involving both muscular and ligament components that could require months of therapy and careful monitoring. This has fueled speculation about when Hill might realistically return to the field, with some analysts predicting a delayed debut, while others optimistically insist that his sheer athleticism and dedication could accelerate the process. Team doctors are said to be cautiously optimistic, emphasizing that every step of Hill's recovery must be meticulously managed to avoid long-term setbacks. This cautious optimism has not prevented a wave of rumors, with some whispering that Hill could make a sensational return for the playoffs, turning the Browns into immediate Super Bowl contenders if he reaches peak form. The very idea of a player of Hill's caliber being sidelined, yet still commanding such attention, is a testament to his reputation and influence in the league. The fan reaction has been nothing short of electric. Across platforms like Instagram and TikTok, Cleveland supporters are sharing viral clips, memes, and speculations about what Hill's arrival means for the team's offensive schemes. Season ticket holders are reportedly lining up to renew their seats, hoping to witness the explosive plays that Hill has become synonymous with throughout his career. Yet amid the excitement, there is an undercurrent of anxiety. How will head coach Kevin Stefanski manage a star player coming off a major injury? Can the offensive line protect Hill long enough for him to showcase his speed and route-running precision? And what about the chemistry with quarterback Deshaun Watson, who now has the daunting task of integrating a dynamic but potentially limited Hill into the Browns system? Analysts are already debating potential adjustments to the playbook, suggesting more short, controlled routes early in the season to ease Hill back into the lineup before ramping up to vertical threats and deep passes that define his game. Every angle is being considered, and every rumor seems to feed into the growing narrative of the Browns as either brilliant masterminds or reckless gamblers. Compounding the intrigue is the broader NFL reaction. Rival teams are reportedly on high alert, reassessing their defensive strategies in anticipation of Hill's eventual return. Executives from other franchises have been described as stunned by the news, with some openly questioning whether they would make a similar move under comparable circumstances. Sports media outlets are filled with debates over the implications, ranging from immediate playoff potential to the long-term risk of overcommitting resources to an injured player. The narrative has quickly shifted from mere player acquisition to a high-stakes gamble that could define the Browns' legacy for years to come. The storylines practically write themselves. The audacious signing, the high-profile injury, the medical gamble, the media frenzy, and the inevitable pressure to deliver results. Every facet of this saga is being dissected, shared, and amplified, ensuring that Tyreek Hill's name dominates NFL conversations well beyond Cleveland. Even teammates are reportedly caught up in the whirlwind of speculation. Some sources suggest that the locker room is buzzing with excitement over Hill's arrival, seeing him as a game-changer who could elevate their collective performance. Others are more cautious, aware of the delicate balance between enthusiasm and the reality of reintegrating a player recovering from a serious injury. Coaches are reportedly balancing these emotions, trying to maintain focus while accommodating the hype that naturally surrounds a player of Hill's stature. Rumors have even emerged about special training sessions tailored specifically for Hill, including modified conditioning drills, personalized practice schedules, and constant medical oversight to ensure that he does not exacerbate his injury. The Browns appear committed to providing every possible advantage to maximize his potential impact, and insiders hint that Hill himself is fully invested in the process, driven by a desire to prove doubters wrong and make an immediate statement despite the setbacks. The media frenzy shows no signs of slowing down. Sports talk shows are dissecting every angle, from contract details to potential offensive alignments, while social media debates have ignited heated arguments among fans and analysts alike. Some argue that the move is a stroke of genius, positioning the Browns as a team willing to think outside the box and prioritize elite talent even at substantial risk. Others warn of potential disaster, citing examples of high-profile players whose injuries derailed seasons or careers despite optimistic projections. This duality has created an intense, almost cinematic narrative around Hill's arrival in Cleveland, transforming what would normally be a standard off-season signing into a national story brimming with suspense, speculation, and drama. The story is evolving by the hour, and each new tidbit, whether from official announcements, insider leaks, or speculative analysis, fuels the growing sense of anticipation that surrounds Hill's future on the Browns roster. At the heart of this entire saga is Tyreek Hill himself, a player whose speed, skill, and determination have made him one of the most electrifying talents in modern football. His injury may be severe, but his reputation for resilience and work ethic only intensifies the drama. Hill is widely regarded as someone who can change the course of a game with a single play, and the mere possibility of him returning to full strength has fans imagining highlight reels, game-winning touchdowns, and record-breaking performances. Analysts are already crafting narratives of a Browns offense that could rival the league's most feared units, blending Hill's explosiveness with Watson's arm and the team's improving offensive line. The suspense is palpable, the speculation rampant, and the stakes higher than ever. Every day that passes without his return only adds fuel to the rumor mill, keeping the NFL community on edge and ensuring that the Browns gamble will remain one of the hottest topics of conversation well into the season. In short, the announcement that Tyreek Hill will join the Cleveland Browns despite a grave injury has sent shockwaves through the NFL. It is a move filled with audacity, speculation, and undeniable drama, one that has captivated fans, analysts, and rival teams alike. The story continues to unfold, with every insider report, social media post, and medical update adding new layers of intrigue. Whether this will become a legendary stroke of brilliance or a cautionary tale about risk and reward remains to be seen. But one thing is certain. The Browns have made a move that no one will forget anytime soon, and the buzz surrounding Tyreek Hill is only getting louder. In the ever-unpredictable world of football, some stories are extraordinary simply because they defy expectation, and this one, without a doubt, fits that description perfectly. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!